meselesi bu diyebiliriz. Tabii ki eksik yönleri var. Tartışmanın farklı boyutları, farklı şekillerde tartışılabilir. Fakat Ermeni soykırımı Türkiye'nin güncel bir problemi olarak tartışılıyor.
Staff at the Holy Cross Cathedral will happily tell you where, among the murals, you can find David and Goliath. But they won't mention that Armenia was the first country in the world to establish Christianity as its official religion. But what of the people who once prayed here? What happened to Armenians who inhabited the shores of Lake Van?
Şimdi burada olan da var, gidenler de var. İstanbul'da, Fransa'ya, Amerika'ya gidenler de var. Burada olan da var ama kendini belli etmiyor, göstermiyor. Yani ben Ermeniyim demiyor. Ama şu an burada çok az. Yani sayılar çok az.
In 1915, Armin Wegner, a German officer, accompanied troops from Constantinople to Baghdad. Because he was a medic with an Allied army, he was allowed to visit the camps set up by the Turks to contain Armenian migrants. Wegner had his camera with him.
He used to write to his mother, telling all the terrible thing he was going. And he was forced to go back to Istanbul and put in a cholera camp, where he nearly died.
Wegner survived. His photographs were confiscated, but he did keep some films and returned to Germany. When the war was over, he started writing.
Well, imagine you walk over a country and you see one man killed, 200,000, and it's continuously going on. It comes into yourself. You can't get any longer rid of it. And when my father was crying, as I told you before, the memory, the inside memory, didn't give him peace. And he has been, in some way, a destroyed man since then.
Wegner spoke of what he'd seen, but he did remain objective. He pointed out how some Turks had refused to follow their orders. Using photographs he'd taken and documents sent to him by various Armenians, he published a book in which he accused the Ottoman government of mass murder.
And they're horrific. You see starving children on the side of the road. It's something that we need to get through, but we need to do it with justice. And Turkey's got to live up to its own history. And because otherwise we're not going to let it go.
This journey to the past is reaching its end. Avakim Takhmasyan failed to find any trace of his grandfather in Turkey. He'd promised to bring something back from the ancestral homeland for his neighbors and friends.
А что я увидел в своем селении Кеглов? Ничего не увидел. Реально ничего я не увидел там. Все изменено, только одна вот эта часовня и не часы, что посередине стоят, кольцевую сделали, вот она что-то напоминает о существовании армян на той местности. Больше ничего я там не увидел. А там и жили все, весь мой род, и однофамильцы жили. Что я делаю? Я землю беру, чтобы отвезти на родину свою.
We were preparing to flee to Russia. We captured several rich Turks and forced them to lend us money for the trip. Armenian villages were empty. There were no houses or occupants. There were 300 Armenians and 300 Greeks among us. The Laz people had 3 boats. One had a motor, the other 2 did not. We installed motors, got aboard, and were saved. In the last month of 1923, we alighted not far from Sochi. The Ottoman Empire had collapsed, and Ataturk became president of the newly born Republic of Turkey. Armenians, though, who'd spent the last 8 years in the woods as partisans, saw no place for themselves. It seemed they'd never set foot on this land again. How could they live in this country after all they'd been through? A village called Vakifli is shown on maps of southern Turkey, on the border with Syria. Residents know it as Vakif, the Armenian name, because the villagers are really Armenian. It has 35 houses, a church, and a hotel. It's the only Armenian village on Turkish soil.
Ինչպես որ բոլոր աշխարհը գիտե, հոստեղահանություն եղած էր, Օսմանյան գազության ադենով ուզեցին որ մուսալերան հայերն մոտավոր
մամաց, դադս, գիշներին թուզ բան հասկը թխեին, գիշերը որ թուրքը չիտեսնի, խպիրեց գիշերով, թուզ կհավակեին ամարեր, թուզը, խաղողը, սեպետը ուսերի վրա, լերը կհանեին գրվողներին, որ ուդեն։
Բաշեր խպել են, բան են արել, նղանջ է, արգավոդը բացվել է, այդպես կրեր են, բան նավեր դեսնում են աչկով, մոդ է գացել այդ գաստալոց, մոդ է գացել է,
The French and British evacuated more than 4,000 people from Musadak in 1915 in what was the largest Armenian rescue operation.
Oğlan kalk giderim, giderim, fenerim, yok giderim.
Nektar Alatuzyan was born near Musadag, where the first fight against Turks continued even to the mid-20s.
Աստե հրացան չկա, բանը եկան, ասեն հրացան չկա աստե, սպասեք ասե գա հրացան, եսալ։ Ոյ ասեն ես ինչ աղջիկ է, ինչ խելք բիդեց, գեդինը պրերը հրացաններ խալեն պրերը վրան։
Even after the war, the persecution continued, but the civilized world had, by then, lost interest. The murder of a nation wasn't considered a crime from the law's point of view. It wasn't until 1944 that lawyer Raphael Lemkin suggested the term genocide. When he spoke of its victims, he referred mainly to Jews and Armenians.
1939 թվականը, երբ Օբերզալցբուրգում գեներալների հետ հանդիպման ժամանակ Հիտլերը մի ճառ է արտասանում, հրամայելով ոչնչացնել բոլորին։ Չինգիզ խանը ժամանակին ոչնչացրեց միլիոնավոր մարդիկ եւ ստեղծեց կայսրություն եւ մնաց կայսրության մեջ։ Եվ նա ասում է, մտնելով Լեհաստան, ոչնչացրեք բոլորին, կանանց, երեխաներին ոչ մեկին մի խնայեք։ Ով է այսօր հիշում հայերին։
These days, there are only a few tens of thousands of Armenians in Turkey. Journalist Grant Dink became one of the most prominent at the end of the last century when he focused on the topics of genocide and reconciliation. 3 times Dink was prosecuted for denigrating the Turkish nation, and in 2007, he was killed by a Turkish nationalist. Fethiye Çetin defended Dink in court. Her book, My Grandmother, went through 11 editions in Turkey and will soon be published yet again. Her grandmother confessed on her deathbed that she had lived her whole life with a Turkish name. But she'd been born to an Armenian family, and in 1915, at the age of 9, had found herself on death road.